I believe that beauty for beauty's sake is great. I believe that whimsy for whimsy's sake is important.
Oh.
And I believe that it is okay to make something beautiful even if it will be destroyed. But what do me and all monks from all of history know that this person is incorrect about?
Hello and welcome to Is This Good? The show where we boldly, conclusively, and scientifically decide what things in this big wide world are good. I'm Matt Austin. With me as always is production powerhouse Jason Doyle.
Hello.
Hi JD, thanks for coming. And today's guest is a comedian who you know from Conan and Comedy Central. He's also the host of the very funny podcast Never Seen It. And one fun thing about him, he thinks all waiters should be able to kill one customer a year. I know he said it as a joke, but I also know he believes it deep in his core. Kyle Ayers, welcome to Is This Good?
I've yet to find someone who disagrees with that, who didn't just come from church to that Applebee's.
I think really anyone working in retail should be able to kill one customer a year. Why stop at
Any
service?
service industry, any retail, anytime you interact with someone who you didn't choose to interact with, honestly.
Number one reason for death, like if there's now a tribunal, a waiter tribunal, deciding whether you do get to kill this customer or not, or do you think that it's just up to you?
I think it wouldn't even be tip related. That's the thing. That's like people hold that against you the least. It would just be general behavior related.
Like
what would be the number one reason that everyone is killed if it's not like bad tipping?
Yeah,
just horrible energy.
Yeah,
maybe snapping at you. Mm-hmm. Maybe avoiding eye contact with a human being carrying something you're going to put in your body.
I think it could be they make a decision and then blame you for it. So it's like I'll have this, burger, and they say it's like, okay, it's cooked medium or whatever, and then they say they want it well done, and then you bring it to them, and then they say it's dry, and they return it.
Oh, I mean, we're slowly devolving into a people of lack of self-blame. I could definitely see people being like, I don't like fish, I just wanted cod.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, did you know cod's a fish? And I'm like, I haven't seen that on Facebook. I think you're thinking of something else.
I wanted to talk about the concept of your podcast. So maybe I'll let you explain it.
Sure. It's called Never Seen It. I have comedians rewrite a famous movie they've never seen. So basically, a comedian will take a movie or TV show they've never seen and write 5 or 6 pages of what they figure it probably is, and we'll read that script. We're about 320 episodes in now at this point, and used to be like a live show even for years before that. You just kind of goof off and write whatever you figure it probably is. It's accurate sometimes, inaccurate sometimes, wild. It's fun, though. I figure most people have or haven't seen almost everything.
Yeah, well, that's one of those two options. I was wondering, do you do the thing where, I wouldn't consider myself a liar, but I often find myself, if someone asks me if I've seen a movie, like if someone's like, have you seen Once Upon a Time in America? I'll go, yep. I haven't seen it.
This all started because I got tired of people making fun of me for not watching The Wire. I lived in Bushwick, where if you look like me and lived in Bushwick in 2014, you had to watch The Wire. Otherwise, you have nothing to talk about at this open mic. And so I just started being like, yeah, it's good. I love Omar. I can't believe they changed the theme music every season. It was crazy, but it fit the tone. I don't know what I'm talking about. I still haven't seen it. But you
Season
pick up
5,
so many
not
details.
not their best.
Right. So many details of these big things are just against your own will. It's also like why I know Kardashians and Jenners are the same people. It's against my own will. This information has been pushed on me, and now I'm just going to be like, I don't want to tell someone, oh, you have to. I know I have to see it. Well, guess what? I'm tired. There's a lot of episodes.
You're right.
But you had the confidence to say, no, I have not seen The Wire.
For a few times, and then eventually I just started saying,
like,
yeah,
fuck it,
I
who
love
cares?
Omar. You just say you love Omar, and everyone's like, yeah. And you'd be like, best come at the king, you best not miss. I'm pretty sure that's from that. And I still don't know for sure, but, maybe they haven't either and they didn't want to get called out.
But also, it's like a lot of the movies, especially when it comes to movies, that people are demanding that you see our old movies. And it's very easy, I think, to go, when they question you about what happened, like Once Upon a Time in America, oh, I saw it so long ago. Like, it was great. I don't really remember it, but it was great. It's just very easy to do that.
I've actually never thought about doing exactly that. Wait, actually, no, I did just talk to someone about a movie where I couldn't remember if I'd seen it, and we talked about it the whole time, and I was like, I think I'm thinking of a different movie. But there's so many of these. I saw that movie where the train came at the screen, and since then it's all been downhill for me. Since I fled out of the theater,
Since
I've
the
just been a little
talkies,
afraid to go back.
you haven't seen anything.
I'll just see every remake of Nosferatu. That'll be when I go every 105 years.
Yeah, but like the other move you could do, and I've done this too, and this annoys me that I even do it. But if someone's like, be like, oh, have you seen that movie like based on the Jane Austen novel, and you have no idea what they're talking about, but you know that Sense and Sensibility is a Jane Austen novel. You just say that, and suddenly you're getting credit, even though you have you have not seen the thing that they are talking about.
Yeah, you basically filled in the subject of the email, and they're assuming you've written the email.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I like that. See, these are all better terms that would have also, had I known this in 2013 or 14, removed years of stress from my life of formatting and learning how inputs work on computers and casting people and buying printers.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you ever you ever feel bad that you have your guests do homework for you, or are they usually pretty into it? Like, have you ever had a guest that was pretty into it, and then you were like, okay, and then all you got to do is write 5 pages, and they're like, write 5 pages?
All the time. It's an uphill battle.
That feels good.
People, generally what I get from people is, it took me a while to start, and then I wrote it in 5 seconds once I figured out my bit, or something like that. Like, it took me a minute to get going. So I'll usually just say to them, hey, I'm in no hurry to ever have anyone on. Like, you know what I mean? You can come on whenever you want once you figure out your angle, and it's easy work. But I've had people write 6 lines and come in with like a 6-line page or something like that. I know exactly what it looks like when a script is written in the Google Docs app on your phone. Like, I know what that looks like when you email that to me. I even think I know what that looks like when it's written while you're driving from West Hollywood. So I've
voice to text, of course.
Yeah, I've seen it all, and I want people to do as little stress as they can with it. But everyone who comes seems to be like, once I got going, this was really, really fun, and I'm really happy I got into this and did it. And it's just a fun way to make fun of everything that's like permeating, especially year after year. There's infinitely more to watch and infinitely less watching happening.
Wow.
Or like universal zeitgeist watching happening.
I also want to ask you about Hard to Say. So this is are you calling it a one-man show, a comedy special?
I guess a comedy show.
Comedy show.
Yeah.
The subtitle's Comedy About Living in Pain. And I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but you have a condition called, is it Trigeminal neuralgia? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your trigeminal nerve is a big, sprawling, it looks like a series of rivers and tributaries. Like, when you see those maps of all the rivers in America?
Yeah.
This is like that on the side. You have a trigeminal nerve on each side of your face, and the one on my right side of my face exploded and is basically electrocuting me all the time. And so I'm in pain all the time, and I wrote a bunch of jokes about being in pain and the process of going through all the hospitals and brain surgery and all this weird stuff. And I just sort of tell them as a series of jokes and stories and stuff as one show.
Well, what I was wondering about it, and maybe I'm off on this, but like, how hard is it to get a doctor to believe that you have this thing? Because like, if you have a broken wrist and they take an X-ray, they're like, oh, that's a broken wrist. But if you just say like, I'm in pain all day, are they just kind of like, yeah, sure you are?
I think that people genuinely don't take anything you say very seriously. They assume, you will assume it's the most common thing and then work your way in. And what I have is most common in people over 65 and overwhelmingly women. So they started all the way out, and this was maybe 3 years into treatments and failures and stuff before I really had a name for what it was. And that just ended with me finding it online and going in and acting like I had it and then going from there.
And is it getting better?
Oh, no. It's the worst it's been.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I've got a bunch of surgeries. I had a brain surgery, and it just wore off one day, which is weird because the bills keep coming. And so that's kind of where I'm at, is just sort of in pain and figuring it out, what to do. I'm allergic to a lot of medications. You find that out when you take them. And they'll let you know. You get good specific feedback from medications if your body's allergic to them.
They say wait till you get hives before you say you don't want to take this.
Yeah. Wait till you seize on your kitchen floor and then try it again. Because that's how much you hate yourself, is you're like, did I eat that bad? And then you take the same pill
I took
again.
it wrong.
I took it wrong is exactly the energy. You're like, what hole? Mouth? And then you're like, I think it was mouth. I'll try it again. And yeah, it's just frustrating. But I think a lot of people are kind of like floating in the ether of physical or emotional damage, baggage they carry that people can't see all the time. So I just had to make fun of it. I mean, otherwise, I was doing it as regular stand-up jokes, and you go do a 10-minute set at like a club, and people are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, I'm like, hey, I have a brain disease, so here's some jokes. So people are like, I think we need you to slow down at the beginning.
Well, then, I mean, so then you obviously, I'm sure, had to work on getting into it if you're going to be doing these jokes for an hour. Like, I guess making people feel comfortable enough that even though you are in pain, it's okay to laugh at it.
Yeah, you ease into it, and you're sort of like, hey, just so you know, I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? It's okay if I'm saying the stuff about me. I'm giving my own story and what happened. And if you know, it's not obviously not for everyone if you don't like dark jokes. The disease I have is called suicide disease because it has the highest rate of suicide of any ailment.
Damn.
And if you're just sort of like, you could, people either go one or two ways where they're like, I can sympathize and laugh with that, or I can sympathize and I don't want to laugh with that. And I'm okay if you do either way.
Right. I mean, is the annoying thing, though, that if you succeed and the show is very funny, then someone will say to you that laughter is the best medicine?
Yeah, which is also hard because I'm allergic to that as well. And just 15 years of comedy, and you realize that that's what gives you hives.
Wow, fuck, yeah. So sitting in a room of open micers, I mean, that's enough to send anyone to the floor.
Oh, it's nothing like getting punch-ups about the brain disease you have from someone who texted through your whole show.
Jesus.
I mean, you do get a lot of, like, I had people with the disease come see the show. I did the show at Edinburgh, the Fringe Festival, and one show there were like 20 people with the disease from all over the UK, and then a bunch of other people, and I had to be like, to the other people, be like, this half of the room right here in matching shirts, it hurts them to laugh. So don't let them lead you enjoying this. And then in the middle of the show, I'm like, are you guys afraid to laugh because those people are right there? Like, it was just such an odd energy and I'm like, it's okay if they have it. You know who would have loved these jokes? The people who killed themselves who had this. They unsubscribed from my MailChimp.
Hey guys, it's a good show. Okay, it's an award-winning show. Okay, just it works.
It is just
in a
really
room.
fun. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Right?
No,
what are you gonna do?
I have no idea. I have no idea what you would do. And
yeah,
I
I'm
imagine.
asking. What should I do?
Oh, what should I? What should you do?
Concealed carry is hard to get in California, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, move to Canada. Maybe I'm Canadian, so maybe I feel like I can say that.
Yeah, that's like almost like saying you're rich these days in America.
I know.
You have
well, no, I'm not. Don't worry, I don't have any of those benefits now that I'm living in America. Then once you leave, they take that away from you. Very
From
quickly.
Canada to Florida feels like a Steve Martin movie from the late '80s. Where he's just,
Well, there's a lot of Canadians in Florida on account of the weather, but you know, whatever. We got our own politics in Canada that are annoying. But hey.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have to make a lot of hard turns in your show, so let me make one right here. Let's get to the show.
Sometimes you just have to be like, now we're at the other thing.
Yeah, now we're at the other
People
thing.
are smart. They can figure it out. People watch the last season of Game of Thrones. They can pivot in the middle of a podcast.
Hey, maybe we'll even put a commercial in right here. All right. The premise of the show, well, we don't even have commercials in the show. That was just a dead space. I'll give you a topic. You tell me if you think it's good. Okay, this one's a weird one, but I'm going to explain it to you. Saying an older guy buying a nice car is having a midlife crisis. Is this good? So this is maybe a being in Florida thing, but at a stoplight a couple days ago, see a old guy in a very, nice car. I was going to say a Corvette, but I don't even think Corvettes are nice. I mean, I don't know anything about cars. The top down, the thin hair, wisping in the wind.
Unfortunately, the way to describe it is the midlife crisis car.
Okay, right. But then I was thinking, can I give, I'm thinking this guy's got issues. He's filling a hole. But then I start thinking, why? Why is this different than buying any nice thing when you're old? Like a very fancy guitar, let's say. Or is there a difference? So what do you think can I keep saying these people are having a midlife crisis? Or do I need to check myself?
I think it's fine to bully people in private, just to yourself. I think my sympathy callus is wearing thin as time goes by.
Well, you don't have to. Is that a thing? Do you kind of feel like you don't have to be sympathetic to anyone at this point?
It's actually made me a little more sympathetic, I think, or
that's
at least a little more
unfortunate.
patient. It is. I'm definitely more like, I wonder what this person's got going on. Like, there's a chance the person you're bullying has suicide disease. So now, how do you feel? But it's sort of like I am a little bit more like he is carrying something around, but the problem is usually then your bullying assumptioning in this particular case, let's say about the midlife crisis thing, is usually proven to be justified if you ever talk to them for 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're right, because in general life, when people tell us to do that, like the person that's annoying you in the line at the supermarket, you're supposed to go, you don't know what that person's going through, right? But 99% of the time, they're truly going through nothing that is making them act like an asshole to the cashier.
Yeah, they're not even going through the supermarket line properly.
No, they're in the 10 items or less, and they got a basket full of shit.
Yeah, you want to be patient and you want to assume positive intent. That's kind of the phrase that I use. You want to assume positive intent, and then generally, if you dig a little bit deeper, you're like, my wide brush initial assumption was correct. This guy's just like in Florida and just got divorced for a second time and is trying to have a single asset that can't be split 3 ways.
I mean, and maybe the difference between, say, the very expensive guitar and the very expensive car is the guitar is hopefully going to be used in private, whereas the car, we assume, was purchased to be a sex machine, you know?
Yeah, like peacocking around.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I don't know why cars are equated with virility, or weirdly, a lack of virility, I suppose. But I think it's the idea is like, I'm going to drive this nice Corvette around, and then I'm going to park it, and then a woman is going to walk by and be like, is that your car? And then I'm going to say, you bet it is. And then she's going to say, is that your fedora in the front seat that you put there because you're worried it'll fly off? And I'll say, yes, it also.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the car looks like it could have ever been a Happy Meal toy, it's okay to be like, maybe this guy's a midlife crisis is fine. Yeah. I think that as the what is it called? The life expectancy in America dwindles, we might need to call it a 70% life crisis at some point.
Well, that's a great point, because I think it's like 78 here. I mean, so then it's actually a 39-year-old. And 39-year-olds look pretty young these days. Yeah. I mean, I think I look pretty young, and I'm fucking way past 39 years old. Yeah. So, I mean, probably really a true midlife crisis in America is a 39-year-old buying streetwear for the first time. Or going to an EDM festival. Or starting a podcast. There you go.
I think that might be the new one. I think it might be like some sort of podcast situation. I think it's I come to a fork at the road, you know?
But let's say, like, if you could put yourself in this position, let's say the podcast takes off gangbusters, you're making millions, and you've made a hard turn to the right, you've gone full RFK Jr., you're hawking supplements.
Look, I'm not saying a brainworm would fix my situation, but
couldn't hurt.
I've been answering new types of emails.
Are there a lot of like forums and shit where people are sort of espousing like different ways to cure this thing that you're like, that sounds insane, but then also
unfortunately some of them are like Baldur's Gate 3 forums, but yeah, they are where they're like, you just have to go full illithid. This is for nobody, what I'm talking about right now.
You're saying the only way to cure this is with an RPG?
Yes, it is. Some sort of any rocket launcher, honestly. There's this like phenomenon where people will believe something a stranger says over someone they've known their whole life.
Exactly.
It's like, you know what I mean? You could talk to someone your whole life about something and they'll be like, well, a Facebook page I don't even follow said this.
Yeah, and that's good because the page is so popular, it was put into my feed on account of its popularity.
Right, so it has to be correct. Wow. Anyways, so I'm going full RFK. Go on.
Yeah. Go on. And let's say you want to do something nice for yourself. You're like, I've earned it. I don't know what kind of car you currently drive, but, you know, you get a nice car. Can't you do that without, you know, being a weird old guy? A creepy dude?
Yeah. I think you can. I think it's just about the energy in the car, honestly. But I hate cars, so I might be the literally worst person to ask. Like, if I could get any car, like, and you're like, you know what I mean? You've won a car. You've won a car. Go pick out your car. I would just sort of be like, okay, if you're asking about the gas mileage, you know what I mean? Like, that's the energy. I'd be like, what's the gas mileage on this? And can I get furniture from the free marketplace in the back easily?
Oh, okay.
And
so then I'm maybe like, a hatchback?
Like a Subaru hatchback or something like that.
Okay.
And does it a hybrid? That's like what I would be looking at. And then if I roll up like blaring the Eagles to a stoplight and that.
Especially if it's life in the fast lane.
Yes, while I'm going 10 miles an hour under the speed limit in the left lane.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, I'm sure that, talking about like Baldur's Gate, I'm sure that like a 45, 50-year-old getting a very expensive gaming PC with a leatherette ergonomic gaming chair could be just as much a sign of midlife crisis as a nice
I think
car.
masculinity is just a trap. I think it's what it all
This
comes
is the first
down
time hearing
to.
of this.
It's a massive trap that now being into something is associated with masculinity at the fault of really no one who's alive and the perpetuation of a lot of people who are alive. But it's like we should be allowed to have a hobby or a thing that you like or some weird little thing that you're into that as long as it's not Funko Pops, it's fine. And I think that it should be people should know. I've got a couple of them floating.
But hold on, I've almost got the full cast of Friends. So what are you fucking saying? I should throw them all out before I get Gunther?
Where's your Chandler one in your pool? And I think that not nice, not a good joke. And
It was pretty good.
I really think that it's like, because it all comes back to this big truck, small dick, this does this. It's just a trap. Why does this even exist? Why can't we just like stuff? Why can't we be a combination of everything? I think there's healthy, good, I would say traditional masculinity that also is not boxing you into something with your hobby. And that's what all these are, is like hobbies. Nice car, I think, is just sort of a hobby. Guitar, a hobby. A way to spend your time that you like that isn't defining you.
Yeah, and why does everything cool for men have to look like a dick so that we are at risk of saying, oh, that's just, like guitar, car, sword.
Sure,
You know.
a specific third example, but I hear you. That hadn't come up yet at all.
Mont Blanc fountain pen.
Piece of glass with portrait of ex-wife etched inside. Yeah. Just whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't
I
have
bought
the
it from one of
answer
those
to it.
stalls in the mall. What are you getting?
I used to work at one of those stalls, so thank you.
An
for
etching
shopping
glass
there.
place?
No, just the sells the toys, like the hover disc and the car where the front wheels spin funny. You know what I mean? Like when you walk in, and just a kiosk.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you have to drive it around to like kind of get people to come
but
over
the batteries
to you?
only last 2 minutes, so you have to have like 8 batteries charging off and on. We're all just trapped by masculinity and what we do to feel like what we need to do to feel as though we're behaving properly within a prison that sometimes even when the gate swings open, we still remain sitting in. Because we're afraid of what's outside.
Now, all that being said, JD, as the only one here that likes cars, can you defend for a second? Like, if you come into a bunch of money and you buy the prototypical midlife crisis car,
Sure, yeah.
are you going to feel like, maybe I'll get something more sensible because I don't want people thinking that I'm doing this?
I would definitely feel self-conscious about it. If I like all of a sudden bought a Porsche 911, I'm not driving it around with the top down and my fedora. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would feel self-conscious about it.
And that's sad.
It is sad.
All right, Kyle, when people need help navigating life's biggest decisions, they seek our wise counsel, and we deliver an airtight verdict. It's time to settle this. So in this segment, usually a listener will write in a quandary they're having. We'll solve it for them. But last week, JD and I had my girlfriend on. JD had his wife on in honor of Valentine's Day. But Valentine's Day is over, and I want to do a question about when love goes wrong. So I just stole this from the New York Times. I think this is from this is an advice. I think this is Maggie Haberman's advice column. All right, so here's the question. My wife and I got married recently. Unfortunately, a few of my high school friends came to the reception drunk. One of them, despite being married with children, spent the entire evening hitting on female guests. He asked one of them back to his hotel room and texted another soliciting a late-night hookup. Months later, we can't stop thinking about how he disrespected his marriage. We don't see him and his wife often, but we consider them friends. His wife was invited to the wedding, but she stayed home with the children. And this was not an isolated incident. I observed a similar episode several years ago. Our instinct is to tell his wife about her husband's behavior, but that could destroy a marriage and the lives of 2 children. Do you have any guidance? I know this isn't the point of this, but unfortunately, a few of my friends came drunk, so what? This guy's mad people were bringing a fun energy to his big day. That
was that stood out to me immediately as well. What's happening at the wedding? Is there an open bar at the wedding? Did they? I come, I have a cousin who was cut off at our other cousin's wedding for drinking too much, and he walked a mile to a gas station and bought a 30-pack of Coors Light and walked back with it. And he was
a
like
30-pack because he knew he had to walk back the mile with it.
It's a big boy. This is a Iowa farm. This is a big kid. And he came back and they were like, "No, you can't drink in here." And he was like, "You just said I couldn't drink your stuff." And they're like, "You're not understanding at all what I
I think that's sound logic.
And even he wasn't a problem.
Well, a wedding is the easiest place. Like, if you get cut off at a wedding, it is so easy to still be drinking. Like, everyone's at an open bar just constantly putting drinks down on a table and forgetting them. I think that I think the fact that his first thought was, I'm going to walk him out to a gas station, is actually evidence that he should have been cut off, because
no,
with a much better
they were
plan.
Correct. Honestly, there's a rare situation where everyone was right.
Have you ever been in this situation though, where you've seen someone cheat, and you've thought, shit, do I need to tell the girlfriend?
I tend to not be able to pay much attention to anything that's going on around me. So, I'm tired all the time. This is a crazy thing to feel. I don't know. It's a crazy situation to have accidentally made your way into. They seem to have a lot of information in the world of text messages and other private information that feels like they already did enough digging that they're going to insert themselves into the drama more. So I don't know if this person even wants advice or just wants to have information put out there that they're in their little investigatory state. Where'd they get these texts? Who knows all this reaching out? This is a lot of digging that's already been done.
Well, in their defense, they do say months later, so they haven't taken action yet. They're really thinking on it.
I will tell them this: if they do reach out to the wife and talk about it, then what are these people going to gossip about every night at dinner with each other?
Well, I think
if not this little situation they've become involved in that keeps them together.
But isn't that one of the problems? Right now, you go from having this like juicy little thing, like you're like, "Oh, fucking Dave, I can't believe he did this." You could talk about it. You can agonize over your decision. As soon as you do it, this could very easily turn around on you, and they could be like, they could hate you for ruining their marriage. You might feel guilty. It's gonna be a nightmare
situation. It's gonna be what's the best case scenario? Is like it's a nightmare. That's best case scenario. Keep your little nugget. Keep your little funny nugget, and that way you have something to talk about when it takes 8 years for seasons of House of the Dragon to come back. We're not filming TV shows fast enough to remove other things to talk about from our lives.
We need real life drama.
Yeah, show us what happened in between those years when they did the time jump. And that's a show I haven't even seen, but I know that's the thing that happened in it.
I don't even think it was an accident. I think the time jump was accidental because it takes so fucking long to film the show. They didn't even have to recast anybody. The actors were 16 years older.
Oh my God, those are the real actors. That's crazy.
It's like Boyhood. Every show is Boyhood now.
JD, have you ever been in this situation where you've like seen a friend cheating on their wife and wondered if you would need to tell her?
I mean, no, I don't think I have. I mean, but I can't say
that. Just has wonderful friends.
You talk to the guy. What if you're like, hey,
exactly?
Remember all this stuff?
Thank you, Kyle. That's what I was going to say. Like,
and he's like, oh yeah, no, my wife said I'm in an open relationship because we're struggling, and instead of buying a car, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like, what if you talk to the guy? What he's gonna get mad? This guy's gonna get mad no matter what.
Yeah, but how does that help? How does that help to talk to the guy?
Well, how does it help to talk to the woman? Like,
you get a funny other side of the story that's clearly made up.
Yeah, but, well, because the question is, would you want to know? Like, would I want to know if you saw my girlfriend cheating on me? Well, that's not what I mean. Would I want to know if my girlfriend was cheating on me is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. If you talk to my girlfriend, then that doesn't help me know. That just helps her know that you know.
It could be on the way to talking to the other person, but I feel like, you could talk to this first guy and figure something out. I don't know. Honestly, I'm tired. This isn't even my. If you're not seeing these people often enough, you're like, well, I haven't seen him in 9 years, so maybe I should go back and do this thing. These aren't your friends. This is just a guy.
Well, I know that's kind of what makes this situation more difficult. Is it kind of does seem like he's not very attached to either of these people. But you could be in the situation where it is yes, they are bored. Yeah, of course he's bored. He thinks people being drunk at a wedding is bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
this guy's bored.
Yeah, exactly. But I could imagine a scenario where this is a very close friend, where because this friend is so close, I've now gotten to know his wife very well and become very attached to her. In fact, I find her quite attractive, and Sure. Well, sometimes I think about her in certain situations, but I don't think that's
There's
weird.
no better way to drive a wedge between them than this.
Yeah, and I want to protect her and also maybe break them up. But,
Great.
you know. So, out of the kindness of my own heart,
midlife crisis.
out of the kindness of my own heart, I open up the Photoshop app and, get a little blackmail material together.
By the way, a guy that does this at a wedding, like where there's mixed company and there's friends of friends, this guy wants to get caught. Like he just wants to be.
That's probably true.
He just wants to blow up his marriage. I mean, that's
You're saying
that's
put him
the
out of his
bottom line.
misery.
I guess I would go to the guy first and say, "What are you doing, man? You got 2 kids at home. You got a wife. Get your shit together, and go home or whatever." You know, like
I would say it's just been too long at this point. It's been too long. What are you
Right.
doing? Like, it's too long to go back to the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations. The statute of limitations is how long you have to tear down a Confederate statue. The statute of limitations is what do you like? You're just it's weird now to go back this long and be like, hey, we've been obsessed with this thing this whole time.
right.
Because he probably doesn't even remember you. I don't even think these people are that good. Your number's probably not even in his phone. They're so unfriends. I bet that's why they haven't hit him up because they don't have contact information.
That's right. They have to go to the wedding.
They're just hoping other people get married so they can bump into him again.
They go to talk to him, and he's like, "Oh shit, are you going to tell my wife?" And you're like, "No. We just actually want more details because we're bored of talking about it. We kind of just want to know some new things about it."
What we text about when we text about love. I think it's perfect. These people aren't that good of friends with them. I can't believe I came away from this angry at these people. Obviously, I hate this guy, and that he's gonna self implode that easily, no matter what. That's
The cheater guy, the cheating guy.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even really know if he cheated. Well, I mean, what did he say here? He asked one of them back to his hotel room. Maybe he needed to move the bed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's possible.
I don't know. Maybe he hadn't seen all the Storage Wars that was on. You never know. But,
And maybe, she hadn't either. And he had his Roku there. He brought it to the wedding.
that's cheater behavior. Just you gotta
Nothing
monitor
drops
what-
the panties like asking someone if they want to
Roku
come
City
back and watch something on
screensaver.
your Roku.
He's like, that skyscraper the robot's destroying. I own that.
You know what's fire? Literally, this Amazon stuff.
It's like this guy's gonna implode his thing, whatever. Maybe talk to some mutual friend that you actually have. These people don't sound like friends. These people sound like they saw something from far away and they just really, really wanted to be in a newspaper.
Okay, but then fine. We're all being very cavalier about this, but then I'll just ask the hard question. Kyle, would you want to know if this happened to you? If you're, I don't know what situation you're in, but if your partner cheated on you, would you want to know? If you didn't already know.
Yeah. I wouldn't have kids.
Just in case?
It's impossible to add that layer of complication to me, even in a hypothetical.
Right. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't have sent them to a wedding alone.
Okay. JD, do you want to know?
I would want to know, but I would want to hear from her. I wouldn't want to hear from just some rando, like, your wife was doing this behind your back.
Yeah, that sounds like crazy.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't believe them, number one. And number two, if I didn't find out about it, I'd be fine with it. Like, she deals with her shit, she gets her shit together, and then everything's fine. There's a weirdness that I'm sensing, and then it's gone. Then I'd rather that than have to be confronted with this.
Yeah, fine.
If that makes sense.
We're all goofing around, and I think I'm like jokingly blaming the victim in this situation more than I think we actually would think.
Right.
You don't know me, Kyle.
This is the conversation those people would be having when they're calling themselves friends. I don't know you. Who? I feel weird about it all. It all made me feel really weird. Going through an avenue that's public like this to get advice about the entire thing makes me skeptical of the person seeking it out, and maybe that's just who I am. Mm-hmm. If you base it down in all positive intent is given across the entire thing, I would still probably talk to the person that I saw in person within the last 3 years.
Okay. Was there a verdict on the in the New York Times about this? Like, did they respond?
Well, Kyle may as well be writing for the New York Times because that's basically what they said. They said it's like seems like your friend did behave badly, but it doesn't seem like you guys are that close. And maybe you should try talking to him instead of jumping to telling his wife.
There you go.
But I would like to know. But like, don't tell me. Like, just drop enough hints that I can figure it out. Do they? Okay. Well, right. Do they even know? But I'm saying in a scenario where it's more cut and dry. Yeah. You open the hotel room door, JD, and I'm there in coitus. Actually cheating. It's black and white.
Yeah.
The screensaver's off because we're rolling around on the remote.
You accidentally bought movies.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have Tubi Plus now because of this position.
No. and Tubi's free. I don't even know why. Why am I paying for this?
It's a whole new situation. They give you more ads.
Oh, I know. Wow. It's weird. It's very very weird. All right, Kyle. Sometimes you have to be brave and stand alone on the edge of consensus. It's time for unpopular opinions. And I know, just from talking already, you're brave. You're not afraid to go against the grain, as they say. So these are some unpopular opinions, and you just tell me if you think they're good or whatever, if you agree. First one here, the eyes are not the window to the soul. The lips are. So this is what this person says. Even as a child, I realized that people's emotions, thoughts, and reactions are written all over their mouths. When a person is talking, their brain focuses on what it takes to make the necessary sounds, and it takes an extreme amount of effort to willfully manipulate those muscle movements to a specific result. But our inner world is also tugging on those same nerves, affecting how the muscles behave. It leaves you with a predictable imprint on the motion our lips make. While the same is true for your eyes, they are simply not as articulate as our lips. This is talking about weird shit you read on the internet that you're like,
yeah.
Like, I'm reading this like, oh, yeah, this is true. And then I get to the end, I'm like, what? Is that true? I have no idea.
Is that the end of it?
That is the end of it. But what I know is true is that I've never given a shit about anyone's eyes. I don't know what color anyone's eyes are. I 90% of the time need to sometimes remind myself to look at someone's eyes when I'm talking to them. Like, I don't mean like I'm being weird and looking down. I am looking at their face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then I'm always, an intrusive thought comes in. It's like, oh, you're not looking at their eyes. You're just perceiving them as like a circle. You know what I mean? An oval.
Sure. For this whole thing you just read, it sounds like it's either written by someone coming up with a new collection of art for Target or a professional poker player giving their hand at a pickup artist book.
Right.
Oh, okay. Right. This is a guy that wears sunglasses indoors would write this.
I once again am just skeptical of the source. I don't think people should act like whoever wrote this. I don't think this is how we should be behaving, is writing stuff like this down in this order. If you wrote this on your computer, it would give a big red squiggly line under all of it at once. It would be like, hey, the paperclip would pop up and be like, hey, it looks like you're trying to access 4chan through incognito browser. Do you need some help talking to people in person?
It sounds like you just got cheated on.
Yeah, it sounds like your friends just saw you texting someone in a hotel. Do you actually know them? I don't know. I don't even think this is popular.
Well, Eyes of the Winter of the Soul is popular. You got to give this guy credit.
People say that. I think that I'm going to think about this in terms of good acting. I think eyes are more subtle, and so I'm going to disagree with the unpopular opinion. And I think that it's easier to act in a lying manner with your mouth and your lips than it is your eyes.
I guess sounds like someone's never seen John Wayne's lips curl. You know, that's the height of acting.
Only when he had to do a scene with a minority.
And in those scenes, his eyes were closed. He didn't want to even look.
What a horrible actor. He's so bad. He's so bad. That might be my unpopular opinion. I don't know. No, I disagree with this. Because when I think of really, 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 really good, subtle acting performances, I think of eyes. I think of Daniel Kaluuya.
Okay.
I think of people who, versus when I think of bad overacting, or like I think of people like biting their lips or like.
Oh yeah, that's so
like that.
fucking. I don't know if I should say that's in vogue, but that is such an annoying little.
Any magazine, yeah.
Yeah. JD, do you like? Would you? Okay, let me ask you this: If you asked me, if you wrote down a piece of paper all of my exes, and you'd need a long piece of paper,
big long piece of paper.
I'm talking legal. A4.
We're talking CVS receipt.
Oh, baby. if you ask me what hair color did they all have, I'm pretty sure I'd get them all right. If you ask me what eye color they all had, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even pretend to know. Do you feel the same way? Like, am I the only one that doesn't give a shit about eyes? Because we're always like, it's just like, what's the ideal,
well, you're not saying what's the mouth deal. You're saying what's the eye deal.
Yeah, but do you care? Like, people like blue eyes are good. They're the best kind of eyes.
I don't know if the eye color matters to me at all.
Yeah.
But some people claim it matters. Like, oh my God, you have beautiful eyes. I guess that's just a thing that you say to a woman on the street because you can't say nice tits. I don't know.
I think a lot of people just want to know that they've been paid attention to at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're saying the eyes are the breasts of the face.
Also, saying blue eyes to a person on the street, that's less creepy than saying nice mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best non-sexual physical compliment you could give somebody.
Nice mouth is serial killer talk.
Speaking of John Wayne, everything else is a little Gacy, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice mouth, good ears.
Yeah.
Great skin. Mm-hmm. Good skin. Good amount of skin. You know what I mean?
Healthy, proportional amount of skin.
Your skin fits proper.
Yeah. Can you even come up with a nice compliment about someone's mouth? Like, isn't Pretty Little Mouth, is that from Silence of the Lambs, or am I making that up? It sounds like it's from Silence of the Lambs.
I think it's a Nicole Kidman show.
I told them not to do a second season, Kyle, and they wouldn't listen to me. I said, you told the whole story. The mouth, the teeth, the gums. And they said,
Jason, what is it from?
They said we didn't cover the uvula.
Deliverance, maybe? I don't know. The uvula. The whole season was just a punching bag. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Eyes just
a beautiful smile.
Like,
I guess that's it. You have a nice smile. That's how you say you have a nice smile.
You don't want to say that to a stranger.
Yeah.
Better than nice eyes, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, they're both bad, but if it was a Impractical Joker style dare where, Kyle, you were I had an IFB in and you were talking to me from a remote location, I would prefer you made me go up to someone and say, you have a very nice smile, then you have...
Great. And knowing that, I would make you look bad by doing it. Because it will go worse. It will go over poorly.
The most boring... It's just practical jokers at this point. I mean,
yeah.
That's all right. Well, okay. You didn't like that one. Let's see how you feel about this one. Latte art is a waste of effort and feels feeble as art. So this person said, if you do latte art on my to-go coffee, I'm putting a lid on it immediately. If it's in a mug, I'm ruining it by taking a sip. A flower, a swan? Sorry. Those are just blobs. Pretty weak art that isn't worth the effort.
This is the brain rot of the internet. This person couldn't be more incorrect. I believe that beauty for beauty's sake is great. I believe that whimsy for whimsy's sake is important. Oh. And I believe that it is okay to make something beautiful even if it will be destroyed. But what do me and all monks from all of history know that this person is incorrect about?
So you're equating the flower in the latte to these, like, the Zen garden that you're going to sweep up at the end of the day.
Yes, I am. Yes, and I don't think it's minimizing or trivializing because I think that's the point of the Zen art. I can't believe this is what I'm going to get most wrong about.
This is where you're planting your flag.
I have a little espresso machine, and I've been practicing making latte art with it all the time, and I find it just as important to do something that brings you a little bit of joy, even if it disappears over the complete. Everything should be. That's not practical. That's not. It doesn't serve its purpose. It doesn't do its thing. Look at this one. I'm gonna hold this one up to the camera. Look at that one that I made. That one's pretty good, right?
Holy shit!
Not bad, right?
That's actually really good. Are you working up towards something? Like,
I mean, sometimes they end up not as good like that.
That's nothing. I really was, and people will believe it because I was.
Sometimes I'll do swirls.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to do the Mozilla Firefox logo, and I mean, I could show you guys all of my pictures at once, and you'll see how many times I've done it.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Wow. What a question.
Who's this for? They're only photos on my phone. I think it is okay to create something, even if it's not permanent. I don't want to go on a massive rant about people who don't like modern art are the same. I don't want to go on a...
My kid could have painted that, though, Kyle. Okay, that's
then
my
why
point.
didn't your fucking kid paint it?
What do you think?
I think
because you know why? Because he's busy. He's busy playing outside.
He's
having
busy
a kid
figuring
life.
out what dope
Sorry, I don't want
is.
to introduce him to the
I'm
Gagosian gallery.
I think that joy and whimsy can exist and should exist even in impractical temporary purposes. And I don't just have a little thing in your thing. Oh, you drink it? That's fine. They've already made another one by then.
Exactly.
People even hate art when it's a function of capitalism. Then what do you like?
So if I make a pancake in the shape of Mickey Mouse, I'm doing art.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I wish I could do that. I mean, I don't. People don't have as much of a problem calling fine dining plating art, and I don't really see why it would be any different. They're both as ephemeral.
Yeah, it's okay if it's not for you.
Right.
But it is just, I think I've come around even on that sort of like, what's the little bloop of this over? It's just because it's a thing that's a thing to be. It doesn't have to serve a completely functional purpose to exist. And I think that is capitalist brain rot that makes people think that.
It makes it better. It makes the coffee better because it shows that the person who made your coffee actually cares about it and cares about take the time to put into putting a little design on the top of your coffee.
Right.
Yeah, if we eat with our eyes, why not drink with our eyes?
Exactly.
Drink with our
The
eat
same
first
people
with
will
our eyes,
walk around and be mad that every building looks the same and doesn't have intricate artwork and design and gargoyles and accents. And you're like, well, but you're thinking about the latte art used to be how we used to latte art everything. Even if it took a little more time or effort, we put a little more effort into the details, and now everything's a square blob gray building with a witch in the bottom. And you can't be mad about that and hate the latte art.
Right.
There used to be a patronage system where the Medicis were paying people thousands of dollars a year just to make latte art, and we don't have that anymore.
We should. We should be putting effort into a little thing, even if it only brings joy for a moment to one person. What's bad about that? Besides the fact that you can't do it.
Yeah. Oh, and okay. So what are you in? Like, are you reading up online how to do this, or are you just experimenting?
No. I watched one video.
Okay.
And
Is there like a hard thing to do that you could work yourself up towards?
Yeah, probably caring about something else. I don't know. I mean, it's like if you want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, I use barista almond milk, which is almond milk that has a different fat content, so it steams better than regular almond milk. But I don't have the nicest espresso machine, and I also don't use cow's milk or animal dairy, which has a better fat content and steams better. So I'm kind of like, it doesn't make as good of art anyways.
Right.
So I'm sort of using a thinner paint, if you will.
Yes, the almond is your paint, the latte is your canvas. Mm-hmm. Not hard to understand.
Absolutely insane that you pulled that one on me being on here with 280 pictures of latte art in my phone.
That was really something, actually. I would go. I mean, are you running out of space on your phone?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Whenever it runs out of space, I just erase it and start over. I don't save the photos anywhere. I don't have pictures. Like, I don't have pictures from my past. I just erase my phone and start over.
Hey, send us one of those at the end, and we can put it up during that conversation so people can see. Because probably one person at a time is seeing it. Now's your opportunity for literally thousands of people to see your latte art.
Mm-hmm. They bully me into suicide. Sorry.
I would say you already have the condition. Why waste that effort?
Yeah, I'm on the ledge.
That's right. All right, one more for you here. Students who cheat by giving test answers to other people shouldn't be punished as the same as those who receive the answers. So this person's basically saying, like, I'm the one cheating on the test. Kyle, if you are like, here, you can look at my answer, you shouldn't be punished. I should be punished for doing the cheating. You shouldn't be punished for giving me the answer.
Maybe I care about stuff more than I thought, because the things you're bringing up, I care. Test taking is a outdated system as a whole, and we should be teaching kids how to learn instead of teaching kids the facts. Just because every fact is at your fingertip free now, so I think you should be able to teach kids anyways.
So, like, let's say we are teaching them how to learn, and you get, like, the exam is a reading comprehension. I mean, that would be hard to cheat on, I guess. Or, like, write an essay about this.
I think we should be teaching kids in a way that it's more difficult to cheat anyways, because what is someone cheating that is not something they could find in their pocket in 5 seconds?
I'll tell you what, they're cheating themselves.
Our taxpayers. I don't know.
Maybe some children should be left behind. That's what Kyle's saying.
Yeah, there's some kids who didn't even need to be on the path to begin with. So why are we leaving them behind when they should be in the
someone's got to be
fields?
making the latte art.
Someone's got to be at least, picking out the beans for my coffee. You find out I buy, like, if it's fair trade, I refuse to buy it. I want conflict beans. If Jaimin Hansu didn't get my coffee from Blood Diamond, I don't want the bean.
In America, it's all about the bling bling, but in Africa, it's all about the bing bang.
South America is where you want most of your coffee beans from, but Blood Diamond's my only reference point.
Have you done Blood Diamond I've never seen it, because that's a good one. That's a very evocative title that you could base a 5-page script off.
Because I've seen Blood Diamond, and I think it's really good, even if Leonardo DiCaprio had such a bad accent, his acting was still good. And it's a good example of, like, a really good performance where then if you see anyone who knows the accent, you're like, he sounded like awful. But I'm like, yeah, but the performance is still good. So I don't think the accents matter that much.
Right. Selena
we all
Gomez
watched
and
Chernobyl.
Emilia Perez, yeah.
They're British in Russia in Chernobyl. We didn't care because the acting was good. Okay. Tests.
Okay, back to cheating.
You see, I'm looking up. I'm asking ChatGPT for answers. We are so far gone from, like, the when did this war happen being a relevant thing. I think context is what's important to teach kids. I think the order of events is important. I don't necessarily think them having to memorize a date is as important. No, you should probably get in trouble if you're also giving the answers. It's hard, though, because you're like, well, what is this kid? Why is this kid willing to? Is this your friend? Is this someone bullying you? Is this what's going on here?
He could be under duress.
There's a big context to all of that stuff. I mean, when I took the ACT, I just let everyone look at mine if they wanted to. I would just leave it full on, like, open in the front, because I'm like, well, this guy next to me is trying to go to college, play football. So I see him looking at mine. I didn't care.
Wait, were you good at it, though? Like, did you get a good result?
I'm really good at test taking.
Okay. Because it would be really mean if you were, like, leaving it open. At it. And you're like, I was just filling this Scantron out willy-nilly.
I think that it's I got so riled up about the latte art, my watch just thanked me for standing up this hour. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I'm just like, you should probably both get in trouble for cheating, but what should the in trouble be? Probably not super significant.
On the supply side, I kind of don't really feel like people should be punished as much as the one that's actually doing the thing.
Sure.
But that's me. I'm just old-fashioned. Kyle, there's only one very quick thing left to do, and that's play subjective trivia. So in subjective trivia, it's just like regular trivia, except only I know the answer. The goal is kind of to get our answers to match. I have mine written down on this piece of paper here. Am I correct in saying you have not seen any of the films nominated for Best Animated Short?
Oh, yeah, probably. Just the odds are.
Good.
Yeah. Are any of them rejected by Don Hertzfeld from 2004?
That's a reference I don't get. I'm just going to be honest with you.
You should see it. It's a good animated short.
Oh, okay. Great. So today's question is based on name alone. So you haven't seen it, and nor have I seen any of these, but that's not a problem because we're just basing this on their titles. Which of the nominees for Best Animated Short Film will win the Oscar? So I put them up here just so you can see them. Your choices are Wander to Wonder, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Beautiful Men, Magic Candies, or Yuck. And if you're listening, I feel, it's important to note the exclamation point on Yuck. Now, why are you saying Yuck? Because I looked up and last year's winner also had an exclamation point in it.
I feel like this is one of the few categories where Whimsy can prevail.
Okay, interesting. And so
it's usually like this is oftentimes the rampant victory grounds of a Pixar lead-in or stop motion. And so I think between one of those two, and honestly, if you ask me which of these would devastate me most emotionally, it's probably Yuck, and it's probably about like a sentient puddle or something that doesn't want to get sopped up. And
so you're thinking this is like I can't believe I care that much about the lamp in the Pixar logo.
We should care this much about everything. And I think it's Yuck. I don't know what In the Shadow of the Cypress, too long of a title. I don't know if the longest titles really ever win. Although this is a category of breaking convention, I would say, animated short. And I'll go Yuck.
Okay, JD does not know my answer, so JD, I'll ask you, you agree here?
So this is your favorite title.
I wouldn't say favorite, it's just which one I think will win.
What do you think will win? Oh, geez. Yeah, I think, I know you love candies and you love magic and magic candies that could
See,
be
Kyle,
referring-
this is the insight into my personality that you
Oh,
did not know.
if I was guessing what you thought was going to win, I was going to say Wander to Wonder, but Yuck is what I think. Is gonna win.
Oh, I look like a Wander to Wonder guy. I look like a guy that can't. When I say it, you don't know if the first word is wonder or the second word is wonder.
I think you put a significant weight to alliteration.
Yeah. No. Well, you're not wrong. Okay. Well,
I'm going to say Magic Candies. Magic Candies.
okay. You're gonna say Magic Candies. Unfortunately, you're both wrong. I was said In the Shadows of the Cypress because we were thinking in exact opposite ways. But you nailed what I was thinking, Kyle. Is that in a prestige-y sense, In the Shadow of the Cypress made me think of In the Heat of the Night. Like if you have a lot of prepositions, that sounds like very fancy. And I thought that people might not even watch these, even though they are shorts, because they'll be voting on the major categories, and they'll just be like, "That one sounds like wow." They really
In the
did
Shadow of the
something
Cypress sounds like a video game that's going to have, like, white guys in America appropriating a different culture.
there. Yeah, it's the kind of video game where you go on Reddit just to see like, does this game get more exciting later? You know what I
And
mean?
the guys, everyone's just going to be complaining that the girl looks mid.
Well, she does. I have to tell you.
Why do we render them to look like this Nintendo 64 Tomb Raider was the last time a realistic woman was in a game.
Well, Kyle, even though we didn't get it right, usually the prize for getting it right is you can tell people where to find you. But since you were such a great guest, you can do that anyways.
Thanks. I'm at Kyle Ayers on everything. You know, whatever's left. And KYLEAYERS, and Never Seen It. Links from all that's the same places and everything like that. If you're into movies, we've got a few hundred episodes of that up.
Well, pitch the live show.
Oh yeah, I'm doing Hard to Say in New York. If you're going to be in New York, April 5, I think it's the first Saturday of April at Union Hall in Brooklyn. And please get tickets to it. It's moving towards being sold out already. And so get tickets if you want to see. If you know anyone who's in pain, or if you're in pain, or if you like dark jokes and laughing at dark jokes, you think you'll really enjoy the show.
All right, perfect. Go see that and check us out, patreon.com/isthisgood. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Kyle for coming on. Leave us a 5-star review for everyone. I'm Matt Austin, and this was good. We'll see you next week.